day. Welcome to a new episode of the Social Media Scene. On today's episode of the Social Media Scene, got a lot to talk about. First, we must talk about Clubhouse. Yay, Android users. Yay, Android users. It is your day. It is your time. So, I'll tell you more about this new opening of Clubhouse to Android in just a second. Also today, got to talk about Instagram. It's all going down in the DMs, but could you be missing it? Quite possibly, and I'll tell you why. Also today, got to talk about Facebook and journalism, especially local broadcasts, local news, and local journalists. Some funds coming to local journalist funds and resources, and I'll tell you about that. And today is a big day for YouTube. If you are a beauty blogger, I'll tell you why. Today you'll definitely want to check out YouTube, what is going on this afternoon. So that's the rundown for the show today. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. Happy Friday again. How's everybody doing? Let me go ahead and get this music out of here. Fade this out real pretty, like so, like that. I know you're like, I know where you got that like so, like that from. Yes, I did. I got it from a fellow North Carolinian. So, happy Friday again, everybody. Thank you for coming to spending some virtual time and space here with me on the social media scene. Now, for those of you that are new, welcome. I am Alice Fuller. My name is Alice Fuller, but my business name is Sheer Social. So I am Sheer Social probably everywhere on social media with a couple of exceptions, just a couple of exceptions. So for those of you that are new, hey, for those of you that come every week that are watching the live stream right now, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Your presence and your engagement is especially appreciated. So for those of you that are new, the social media seed is where week to week I give you uh, just a little update on what is going on in the world of social media, because there is a lot going on in the world of social week after week after week. Some weeks are busier than others. Keep that in mind. But at the end of the day, there's always something going on in the world of social media to be aware of. So my job every Friday is to give you a good rundown of what is going on. Now, that said, I also sometimes add a little entertainment flavor to it, because in a minute, it's all just going to be media. Have you noticed? In a minute, it's just going to be media. Social media and traditional media are merging, if you haven't noticed, and it's all in a minute just going to be media. So this week, let me share with you again, in case you missed the top of the show, what we're going to talk about. Today, we definitely have to talk about what is going on in the world of Instagram with DMs, Facebook with journalism, especially local news. Also, Clubhouse, the big news of the week technically was Clubhouse and it being launched open to Android users. And today is a big day for YouTube. Today is a big day for YouTube and YouTube beauty bloggers. Now, some of you may not be a beauty blogger. Maybe you're just one of those that loves to watch makeup tutorials and people who like to talk about their skin and hair and cosmetics and things of that nature. That is not me, not even a little bit. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. That is so not me. Well, you could tell that by this plain face. But at the end of the day, some of you out there love watching tutorials. You love making those tutorials, and you're probably thinking about building, as some of my clients have told me, they're thinking about building, a whole channel around that particular thing about makeup, beauty tutorials, and the like. So today is a big day for YouTube, and I'll tell you why I say that. So that's the rundown for this here day. So it doesn't officially start until we do the clapboard. So let's go ahead and knock that out. Yes, bam! That's the clapboard. Yes, indeed. So now let's go ahead and jump into the first story of the day. Now, the first story of the day is this one. We're going to talk about Clubhouse. Go ahead and get that out of the way. With Clubhouse launching to Android, oh, happy day. I know a lot of you are ecstatic about this news. And I get why you are. Because Android users, I suspect you feel like you've been missing out. You've been missing out on all the conversations, on all the fun, and some of the drama too, that has occurred on the app. Well, you won't have to miss out too much now, but there are some limitations that you need to know about as an Android user. Now, I hate to say it, yes, it is available to you now officially. However, you don't have full access to all the features that iOS has, and that's a bummer. And I want. It's a shame and a travesty that indeed is true. But you got to understand too, releasing to Android, they're rolling things out probably a little slower than I thought they would, in all honesty. So, some of the things you need to know that you're not going to have, and I hate to say it because probably if I hadn't told you, you may not have missed it. But here's the things as Android users you will not have access to. First, following of certain topics. You will not be able to do that yet on the Android app. Not yet. Okay. Now, not on the Android version of the app. The big one to me is the inability to create and manage clubs. So if you were thinking as an Android user, I've been hearing how, the people that are using iPhones, they're getting together these big audiences through clubs. You're not going to be able to do that just yet. Just yet, not yet. And no, you won't be able to update your name or your username in the app. Okay. And there's probably some other little things you won't be able to do too as an Android user, but be mindful of those things. Don't say, well, I know that they can do this on iOS. How come we can't? That is why. That is why. So those three things right there. Can't follow topics, or it'll be limited they might give you one or two, but you won't have the full access to the various topics. Also, the big one to me, you will not be able to create or manage clubs on Clubhouse. That sucks. And you won't be able to update your name or update your username within the app. Okay, so whatever you put up there, just understand, think clearly. Don't just rush and throw up any name on Clubhouse if you're an Android user right now. Okay, so just think real good about what you want your username to be. Also, Android users, for those of you that are new to Clubhouse, go ahead and do a really, really nice bio. Do a really nice bio. Let people know what, the kinds of stuff you're into, about your business, about your product or whatever. And be sure to let people know where else they can find you, because once the conversations are over, people will probably want to follow you elsewhere. So if it's Instagram, if it's Twitter, whatever, go ahead and really leverage the bio, because in many cases, like on Instagram, it's limited. On Twitter, it's limited. But on Clubhouse, you have ample opportunity to do a really full bio. Also, too, be careful of who you follow on the app. Why do I say this? Because the algorithm is going to feed you some rooms, as they're called, that you may not really want to have anything to do with. You don't even want to be knowledgeable that these types of rooms exist. Okay? So be mindful of the types of people you follow. And also, if you're wondering, well, how do I go ahead and build up my following quickly on Clubhouse? You got to be on Clubhouse. You really need to engage with people. You need to be in these rooms. You need to moderate some rooms, have conversations with people, maybe be pulled up onto the stage. And a lot of people, what they do is you get a group of people together, get you some allies, and y'all really leverage each other's presence on the platform. And then as you're doing that, you'll notice you'll build your following faster. So basically collaborate. Collaborate. Collaborate with some other people and be open to following people you don't know. Just be real careful though. Be real careful and be real careful of the people that you invite, because once you get on, you usually get one invite, and the more you engage on the platform, you get more invites. So just don't invite people onto the platform willy-nilly, because that's how we got moan rooms to begin with. If you don't know what a moan room is, you don't need to know. Just you can Google it. Moan rooms Clubhouse. You'll figure it out. Luckily, there's no visual. But anyway, so big day for you Android users. Clubhouse is now available to you with just a couple of limitations, okay? So let's move on to other news because there is more to discuss today. So let me get my clapboard together. And bam. Oh, forgot to take off my graphic. Now, for those of you that are on Instagram, you in the DMs a lot. It's all going down in the DMs, like the song said. It really is. But if you're like T-Pain, if you're like T-Pain, you maybe you thought you had it all together, thought you was doing the most, thought you had it all covered, had it all handled, and then you realize, you mean to tell me there's a whole new folder, there's a whole new section in the DMs I knew nothing about? Yeah. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So as you see here, let me get my screen together. Here you go. As you see here, these are all the various things that he's missed over the years. And I do mean years, 2 years. He says, I've been ignoring all these people for 2 years. And a lot of them, might have wanted to do some business with him. It's a missed opportunity. He says, I thought DMs were supposed to show up in the normal. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And I'd be willing to bet he is representative of a lot of people that thought the same things. Maybe you didn't know that one extra little folders, he's not stupid. He's he's just like a lot of people. He just didn't know. He didn't realize. Trust me, people, it is hard to keep up with everything. There's my clapboard again. I always forget to turn that thing off. It is hard to keep up with everything going on in social media. And even with one platform, which to me raises an issue. There is so much going on in the world of social media. It is hard for professionals to keep up. So imagine how hard you don't have to imagine, you know how hard it is for you. And Instagram, there's so much going on with Instagram, the platform, the DMs, the Reels, IGTV. It's always something going on with Instagram. There's so much going on that it's easy to not know or to miss important updates like T-Pain has. So I suspect this is what inspired the head of Instagram, Adam Mazzari, to probably go ahead and do what I'm calling a public service announcement. A public service announcement. And within this little public service announcement, he just goes down some of the major things, some of the major features that you may not know because you don't watch this show or you're not following social media, closely. And maybe your friends didn't tell you about, some of the things that have most recently been added to Instagram, and specifically with Instagram DMs. So let me show you this.
Hi everyone. This week I thought I would do another Hidden Gems and talk a little bit about what goes down in the DMs, what we're doing with Messenger and messaging more broadly. Messaging is a huge part of how people use Instagram, particularly young people here in the US, and I don't know if we talk about it enough here. So a couple of different things I thought I'd share. So let me share my own DMs, which is a terrible and risky thing to do, but we're going to do it anyway. Okay, so opening up Instagram, going over to messages, and you can see here my DMs. I actually have a creator account, so I have multiple inboxes, a primary and a general. Most of you probably don't need that. But here's something, 9 requests, or 9 plus requests. I get a lot of these. This is something that T-Pain just learned about this past week. But this is where people show up if they message you and you don't follow them. So I can go in here and check it out. I get top requests, which are ranked because I'm a creator, but you would just get normal ones, which is cool too. I advise going and checking that out every once in a while. It can be a little crazy. Another one, let me find this here, is actually, I actually DM'd T-Pain and said, hey, do you need help? Because he didn't know about it. But one of my favorite features is if you long press on someone's message, you can mark it as unread, which then changes the read receipt so people won't know that you had seen it. So you can really be a little bit subtle about it if you need to. Another big one is vanish mode. So if you want everything you do to just disappear over time, you click on that eye on the top right, and then you can turn on vanish mode, which means see messages will disappear when you close the chat. So in case you are, I don't know, you've got your secrets, you've got your things going on, you want to feel safe that no one's ever going to find those messages, you can do that too. We also have a bunch of tools, if you go to settings, to make it easy for you to control exactly what happens in your messages. So you go to settings, you go to privacy, you go to messages, and you can see you can decide who can actually message you, you can decide who can add you to groups, and the rest of it. We think it's important that people can decide what their experience is like whenever possible. So anyway, check it out if you haven't already. Don't tell anybody about my DMs, and I'll see you next week. Peace.
Okay.
Hi everyone.
Oops.
This week I thought...
So here's the thing. Now he just did a nice little rundown of the various features in the DMs. So I'm just gonna run through them really, really quickly one more time because I want y'all to understand that maybe instead of just rushing through your DMs like a lot of us do, we check it, we're not on there necessarily to be in the DMs all the time, although a lot of people do. But you might be missing opportunities that are people are trying to reach out to you because you didn't know, that one folder existed. And so I feel bad for T-Pain. But now that he knows, hopefully he will not miss any future opportunities to have okay, my phone is ringing. Okay, everything is going on today because my do not disturb I thought was on. Nonetheless, so when you start thinking about what's in Instagram and the DMs, let me just go through this real quickly for you. Okay, so here we go. Let me just do this rundown right quick. As he showed you in the video, you got message requests. Okay, go in there sometimes and just look. I know if you're like me, you see requests for messages sometimes and you're just trying to get in and get out on Instagram, and the first thought is, if I go down this road, I'm going to be on Instagram a little longer than I want it to be. But sometimes you might find that there are missed opportunities there. So go into your DMs. You got those 3 little folders or those 3 little tabs. Go through all the tabs, the people that you're following, the people that are following you. You're DMing with them. Your general. Go through all of those little tabs, and especially the message requests. Okay. Then you have mark as unread. That gives that basically lets you mark a message unread, just like you do, in certain other message apps. Then you've got the vanish mode. Okay. The vanish mode makes messages disappear when you close the chat. Now, let me keep it 100 with you, y'all, because I know some of you younger people, some of you older people too. You think just because it's vanished from your eyes, it's gone. Say something criminal that has to be investigated, and they might be able to dig that up. So don't get so comfortable in. That's how Snapchat got in trouble years ago, telling people that, oh, you can send a message and it disappears. It disappeared from your eyes, but it was still on their servers. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Also, privacy controls. Learn what your privacy controls and your options are. Just go into your settings, go to privacy, and then messaging, and you might want and set all of that up. Okay, if you haven't gone through that yet, do that today. Okay, so your DMs, there's a lot going on in the DMs, so take some time to get familiar with your DMs, and sometimes don't be so busy to just rush through Instagram, especially in your messages. Take a minute. You might be missing opportunities, 2 years worth of opportunities like T-Pain. It's funny, but it's not funny. And like I said before, he called them, Mazzari said, I'm going to introduce you to some hidden gems. If they're hidden, they shouldn't be hidden. And I don't know if that's an issue of Instagram not promoting well the various features that come up, or if it's a matter of us as individuals using the platform. There's so much distraction on Instagram. Remember when Instagram used to be easy and it was just some photo or video and maybe you talk to your friends in the DMs? We're way past that now. We're way past that now. So it could be a combination of the two. Maybe all of us need to slow down, and maybe Facebook needs to stop or just slow down stuffing all of these features into Instagram so that the important stuff we're not missing, because we're distracted with everything else, the reels, the IGTV, the stories, Instagram live, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Shops. So at any rate, I'll get off my soapbox with that and move on. But y'all know what I'm talking about. All right, so let's move on because there's more to talk about. But if you feel what I'm saying, let me know, because there's just too much going on in the world of Instagram. Just way too much, way too much. So let's move on to where we move on. We're going to move on to now to Facebook. Now, for those of you that are journalists, you aim to be a journalist, you want to be a journalist, and you have maybe, a degree in journalism. Now is the time that when I said merging of media is coming together, really it's merging, because whether we like to admit it or not, especially for those of us who work in traditional media, more and more people now look to social media before they look to traditional media for their news. And I'm not, you can go to Pew Reports and everywhere else. That will come back as proof that in the day of social media that we're in right now, the age of social media that we're in right now, more and more people are using social media as their source of news. That's kind of troublesome. But nonetheless, it is what it is. So Facebook understands they've dropped the ball. Let's just be honest. Facebook understands they have really dropped the ball over the years in letting misinformation proliferate and just do more harm than good when it comes to the platform. So, on one end, this is Facebook's way of addressing that issue and trying to clean up some of the mess, some of the misinformation that is coming through their platform. So they're not trying to, they're doing it. They are funding, not only over the years, they funded major corporations, corporate news, what I call it. The big ones, the letter networks, the NBCs, the ABCs, the CNNs, the MSNBCs, all of that. broadcast news broadcasters like that, they've been, they've given them funds over the years to help them, really leverage Facebook. So now Facebook is saying, hey, we understand local news is still very important. Indeed it is, because in many instances that is where you are going first for traditional news. You may watch your local news and you may not even see the national news that comes on later in the evening. So that said, Facebook is like, you know what, we got to do something. We got to do something. And what we're going to do is we're going to start this journalism project. They started that some time ago. So that in and of itself is not new. But what is new is Facebook saying, you know what, we're going to spend $5 million. Five, five anime, $5 million. $5 million paying local journalists on a new publishing platform. Mm-hmm. According to Reuters, which is more of a outlet, traditional news outlet, been around forever and a day, it's prioritizing reporters in areas without an existing news source, sometimes called news deserts. Uh, Basically, that also means too, if you are Black, Indigenous, Latinx, Asian, or other audiences of color, then they really want to help give you the resources that you need to report locally. And this is a good thing. I'll give Facebook props when it's doing some good stuff, but only half, because we already know Facebook doesn't really do much of anything that doesn't benefit Facebook one way or the other. That might sound harsh, but prove me wrong. Okay. So Facebook says we're launching a platform to help independent writers, experts, journalists, and authoritative voices reach new audiences on Facebook. Oh, okay, cool. As part of our commitment to include local writers at launch, we're opening up an application for U.S. writers creating public interest journalism in their communities, looking to gain access to this new platform and the services we are offering to build an independent business. Now, that part is key, the independent business. If you haven't noticed in this era of media and social media, people, what's popping right now is creators have an opportunity to monetize their content. More and more people are realizing, there's another way to make money that I enjoy, that maybe I don't have to work for somebody else. Or maybe you do work for somebody else, and on the side, you do what you want to do for you. Okay, cool. So, with this new journalism project, especially, I think this is great for anybody right now, anybody in journalism school, anybody that really wants, some of you citizen journalists, and you know what I'm talking about with citizen journalism. In other words, a lot of this Black Lives Matter, with a little training, some of these individuals could become citizen journalists. In other words, they're independent journalists. They got the camera already. Now, with some training, with some resources, they can put the other resources behind it and tell a fuller story, a story that could probably be used for traditional news. So this new platform, what they call a self-publishing tool, will let reporters launch newsletters and charge for subscriptions, cha-ching, as well as integration with existing features like Facebook pages and groups. So Reuters also reports that Facebook will strike a multi-year deal with selected journalists. Cha-ching, cha-ching. And they'll be able to earn more money through subscriptions. Now, I say that, but in the back of my mind, I'm also saying Facebook might take a bit of that too. If they're providing you the platform, you won't get all the money. They're going to take a percentage of that subscription fee. That's usually how it works. Okay? So, let me show you this, because I think a lot of you, as I'm seeing these conversations pop up on social media, and as somebody who still works in traditional media, and I'm talking with my fellow TV media people, journalists, print media, and even people who just do digital. We're all in this space, and we're all trying to keep up with the technologies and the methodologies and things of that nature. So with this, Facebook is really helping us report better, but also helping itself become a better go to for news nationally as well as locally. So, for those of you that are interested, go here. Now, as you see here, supporting independent voices. Now, this platform, I want you to go through here now. If you want to know where this is facebook.com for media. And this article was called Supporting Independent Voices. So I'll try to remember to put this in the chat on Facebook. So you get a free self-publishing tool with styling options to create individual websites and an email newsletter. Okay. Like I said before, you get integration with Facebook pages to enable publishing across various multimedia formats. So you get photos, live videos, and stories. You can create Facebook groups and nurture a community around your reporting. Okay. Features to help audiences easily discover new content and writers, and in turn help those creators build direct relationships with their audience. Okay. Insights for writers to understand how content is performing. Monetization tools so you can build successful websites and businesses, starting with subscriptions, and accelerator services to help creators come together and learn best practices. Okay. That is a lot. That's a lot going on, but that's good. This is good. Like I said, now I'm willing to um, to give Facebook its flowers, one or two, when it's doing something good. But at the end of the day, once again, Facebook is doing this because they understand we've got to do better in how we are distributing misinformation. We've got to stop it. And one way to stop it is to bolster the verified sources of news on the platform. So, for this new initiative, though, that I just told you about, where they're talking about the local journalists, and especially those of color. Here's where I want you to go. Now, this I know I definitely will have to put in the chat somewhere so y'all can find it. This is where I need you to go. Let me share my screen again. Here we go. Now, here you can see creating more opportunities for independent local writers to thrive. Okay. And then we're announcing new opportunities for writers creating public interest in journalism in their communities. Like I said, they're committing $5 million to this project. The applications are open. Okay, so I'm going to click on this so you can see what the application looks like. Now, it says we're partnering with a number of nonprofits, including the International Center for Journalists, the National Association of Hispanic Journalists, to share this opportunity with their networks. And I find it interesting that the National Association of Black Journalists is not listed. That's what I'm a part of. But nonetheless, applications close on May 20th. That's next week, right around noon Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So if you want to apply, let's see what this says. Applications are open today. This takes us over to the International Center for Journalists, and here's your application. Of course, you want to read through all of this. Terms and conditions. Okay, we've got that. Then we don't necessarily want to worry with terms and conditions. And then you got to create an account. Hate that. But you're going to have to do it. So you might as well just go ahead. Might as well. So if you are a journalist even if you're not a journalist, but you feel that, you know what, I don't have the degree, or I don't have the degree yet, but this is a path I want to go into. And I suspect though, um, I suspect somewhere in this application they're going to want you to verify that you are indeed a journalist somehow or the other. You probably will have to put some credentials in here, I suspect. But I don't know that specific. I don't know that exactly, but I suspect so. So if you are not a quote unquote verified journalist, maybe write or partner with one of your online sources, or maybe somewhere locally. Maybe volunteer, write some blog posts, do something so that you can, be seen as a verified journalist if you want to take part in this. Maybe get an internship. That's how I got my start, was getting an intern, but I started eons ago, and it's a lot different now. But still, for those of you that want to get in on this program, I suggest that you do, because at the end of the day, Facebook has got to do better. Facebook, Twitter, all of them have got to do better in how they are helping the problem in distributing misinformation. And this is one way to do it, by funding and giving resources to those individuals who are reporting verifiable news locally and nationally. So I will move on to what's next. Okay, so let's move on. Hey, Tara Robinson, how you doing? So thank you for coming in today. I see you over there. I probably missed some other people too, but I'm trying to keep my eyes focused on what I'm doing for Jade. Okay, so let's move on to YouTube. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to YouTube. Yep, yep. So for those of you that love watching makeup tutorials, woo, that is so not me. Not even a little bit. But for those of you that love, watching how to put on your eyeliner, your eyeshadow, how to get that, that shadowy look and all that extra, how to put on your foundation, your makeup, um, how to do your eyebrows, all of that, and then some. Well, today is your lucky day. Ooh wee, it is your lucky day. Why is it your lucky day? Because today at 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, YouTube is doing its first ever, what they're calling a YouTube Beauty Fest. The Beauty Fest. Mm-hmm. Beauty Fest. A beauty festival. So it's going to be a summit. So that means there's going to be a lot of people coming on, one right after the other. They'll have creators and influencers like Michelle Phan. I know some of you old heads may not know who that is, but Michelle Phan, she was probably one of the, well, I would like to say she was probably one of the first to really kind of break into this, what we now know as a YouTube influencer or YouTube star, however we're phrasing it. She was one of the first to break out from just doing YouTube, and next thing you know, she's doing commercials. She's here. She walking red carpets that actors, really worked hard to get on, but that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not going down that road. Okay. So how you get there sometimes is not, you can't hate on people necessarily on how they get to the red carpet. It is what it is. You on the red carpet too, so work it. It is what it is. Okay. So Paris Hilton is going to drop through Pharrell Williams. Interesting. And Jessica Alba. That's some of the named people that are going to be featured today in the YouTube first ever beauty festival. So it's going to be on YouTube's Fashion Hub, and I'll show you where that is in just a second because I know some of you want to go. It's going to be hosted by Derek Blasberg. He's the head of YouTube's fashion and beauty segment, and I'm wondering too if my speaker for the summit will be there. Shar Caesar Douglas. She might be there. She might make an appearance, quite possibly. But the festival will have a range of panels around, of course, the beauty industry. That's pretty much a given. given, but they're also going to tap into health and wellness, and of course, the other topic of the day, diversity and equity across the beauty landscape. So let's see, they'll have segments with Pharrell Glow. So Pharrell is doing something around YouTube creators. And there's Ask a Drag Queen with Bob the Drag Queen and Monet X Change. I don't know these people at all. Wild Gadgets with Emma Chamberlain. Wild Gadgets. Okay. There's The History of Beauty with Michelle Phan, or is it Fawn? What they're calling YouTube's first beauty creator. Okay. And Black Beauty Founder Roundtable. Moderated by YouTube's head of beauty creators, Chanel Tyler. Okay. And getting ready together to hashtag Stop Asian Hate, hosted by YouTube's partner manager of fashion and beauty, Grace. I'm assuming that is Guan, Guan. I apologize if I am pronouncing any names incorrectly. I do apologize. So let's go on over here to YouTube and see what it's all about. At the not the fashion hub, well, the fashion hub. Because when I think fashion, I immediately think of clothing. I don't think of makeup. But it's all, all in one kind of basket. Because if your clothes look good, but your makeup looks a mess, that ain't popping. It's not cute. But it happens. If we're honest. Happens more than we'd like to admit. So here we go. We're going to come over here to the Fashion and Beauty Hub on YouTube. And let me show you this. And bam, there we go. Here we are. So the YouTube Beauty Festival. And let's see, they got some videos. They got to have some videos. They got a collection here. They got reminders set through here. They got a trailer. Let's see.
Beauty Fest!
Beauty Fest.
Beauty Fest!
Hi, Beauty Fest. Present.
Hi, Beauty Fest!
Hey, Beauty Fest.
Hi, Beauty Fest!
Hi, Beauty Fest.
What the is up, Beauty Fest?
I'm Derek Glassberg. I'm the head of fashion and beauty here on YouTube, and it's my job to welcome you to the first ever, never before attempted YouTube Beauty Festival.
This is the age of Aquarius.
I love surprises. Oh my god, it's not coming off.
Skincare, beauty, treatment, mental health.
Beauty Fest! Woo! My mom. Where's that lip liner?
Welcome to Beauty Fest.
That's hard to read. Really, people? Okay. You know what, people? I know I shouldn't judge. I really shouldn't, because there's some things I can improve upon, and I'm aware of those. But this right here, that's just hard to read. It's just, my brain was like, is that code I have to decipher? Is that an anagram? What is that? Come on, y'all can do better than that. But at any rate, so there's a lot of people going to be involved. If you can read that, then good. There you go. Ooh, Selena Gomez. Okay, cool. All right, so that's the hotness for YouTube. But like I said before, though, let me go back to me right quick. Go back to me. If that's something you're interested in, 4 o'clock today, YouTube Fashion Hub, that's where you need to be to see all the conversations going on around beauty tips, health and wellness, diversity and equity. It's funny they didn't say inclusion, but okay, diversity and equity in the beauty landscape or in the beauty industry. So that should be really, really great, especially for those of you that have a genuine interest in the beauty industry, because you never know sometimes where your opportunities are going to come from, or you can get a little snippet of a tip or information that could take some things to the next level. So go ahead, people. 4 o'clock today, YouTube and youtube.com. I think it's /fashion. If you're on the West Coast, that would be at 1 o'clock today. And for those of you in between, figure it out. It's too much math for me to think about right now. So, but go ahead. I'm excited for YouTube because I think that's going to be a great event. So that's it for me, everybody. That's a wrap. Indeed, it is. It's a wrap. And yeah, I hate to say it, but it is what it is. It's a wrap for me. So, for those of you that are heading out this weekend, please be careful. Have a great weekend. For those of you that are heading out to get your second shot or your first shot, like I said before, have a great weekend. Be careful out here in these crazy streets. For those of you that are looking for gas, not internally, externally, I'm talking for your car. Please be patient with the people at the gas stations, and be patient with other people, because I have seen what some of y'all are doing out here in these streets over gas. And no, you should not put gas in a plastic bag. I'm not mad at that lady though. I'm not mad. By all means necessary, and sometimes she felt that was necessary. I just hope she walked into her house without flames. That's all I'm. I hope it didn't just spill out in her trunk and we light up. Yeah. So at any rate, for those of you that are, fighting people in line, it ain't that deep. Please, can we remember to treat each other with a little bit of patience, just a little bit, so you're not out here on the internet doing the most and going to jail. I'm just saying, was it worth it? Because now your car gonna be towed because you're gonna be in jail. It's not funny, but I'm just saying, people, please, and if you need sauces, carry some sauce in your purse. We've been doing that for generations. It ain't nothing new. Carry some sauces. If you just got to go to Chick-fil-A, put some sauces in your purse. Okay? It's, we acting like the end of the world is coming. But I guarantee, I'd be the first to tell you, as I've been joking with people all week, if some locusts swarm upon Egypt, I'm going to get my spirit right. Not that it's not right already, but there's some things I can work on. Okay? So people, please be careful out here in these main streets. If you have a question, comment, just put it wherever you are. If you're on the YouTube, if you're on Twitter, if you're here on Facebook, go ahead, knock that out, and I will respond to it. Okay? If you have a question, go ahead and do that. If there is something you want me to cover on this particular show regarding social media, please let me know that too. And yes, I would love to have a co-host. I would really, if you think you want to roll up every Friday and share your expertise or your knowledge or your wisdom, your insight, then hey, let a sister know, because I am looking for a co-host. I want to do some bigger and better things with this here show. I just been cutting my teeth on this, really. I can do bigger and better. And I think I'm finally to that point where I'm ready to do it. Okay? Stop talking about it, start thinking about it, and just do it. Okay? So if you wanna roll, then please let me know. Just DM the page or tweet or send me a message via YouTube. And let's chit chat, okay? All right. Bye-bye, people. Have a great weekend. I will see you next week. Same time, same place, same profile. All right. Bye-bye.